Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic Rider. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about gaits because sometimes people get confused what a gait is. So all the things your horse does, walk, trot, canter, flat walk, running walk, foxtrot, saddle gait, rack, all those things are considered gaits. What's confusing is when you start with gaited horses, a lot of times we think it's going to feel really different from the walk. And so you keep pushing the horse for more and more speed until it feels different. And a lot of times you go past their gait. So what I want to show you is just with me is what it looks like. Because again, sometimes you're watching the horse do a flat walk and a running walk and people are still confused. So when I am just walking, and I'm just going to walk across, this is just like a trail walk. It's just a slow, kind of lazy walk, nothing really fast or anything. And all horses can do this kind of just lazy, slow walk. Now, the difference becomes when you ask a regular horse to speed up, a lot of horses will go into a trot. So this is a trot, okay? Now, if you take dressage and are working on other things, a lot of people want to actually get an extended walk. So an extended walk is a walk with a bigger stride. So they're taking a bigger step and they're starting to walk out more, okay? So that's going to be your extended walk, is you kind of want to go somewhere, you're taking bigger steps. Now see my arms going back and forth? That's going to be similar to your horse's head nodding up and down. So the extended walk is very similar to a horse's flat walk with the gaited horses, okay? So yes, a lot of non-gaited horses can do something similar to a flat walk, but they call it an extended walk, okay? So this is your extended walk or your flat walk. Now, that's going to be, for most horses, what we consider to be one of their first gaits. And we ride a lot at that flat walk when we're out on the trail because we like to walk out and we don't want to go too fast that we wear the horses out. And they can do this for long periods of time. Now, your running walk is very similar, except it's just a faster speed. So that's the basics of it. So when they go, the steps are going to be a little bit quicker, they're going to be a little bit faster, and their head doesn't nod up and down as much. So similar to my arms not moving as much, but my legs moving faster. So kind of like a speed walk in a person, okay? Now, it's very similar. I'm still walking, but it's as fast as what I think I can walk, okay? So that's going to be your running walk. So it should still feel like a walk, and that's why people get confused if they're gaiting or not. That is your horse's gait, especially if it's a Tennessee walking horse, and it has overstrides. It's big steps, and it's going to be a fast walk, as fast as your horse can walk, except their head's going to go up and down instead of their arms going back and forth because they don't have arms. Which I didn't have to tell you that. All right. Now, what's after that? Well, for a lot of horses, if they don't, most every gaited horse can do a flat walk, and most regular horses can do an extended walk. It's just depending on their stride, how big it is, will affect it. But with the gaited horses, most can do a flat walk, and then after that, the ones with a big stride can do a running walk. The ones that have overstride or step into their front hoof pocket, those horses will do a running walk, and then the rest of the horses will do something different. So they'll either do something similar to a saddle gait, and that's the one I'll cover next because a lot of horses can saddle gait. So when you saddle gait, the horses don't take these big steps anymore. They might take bigger steps, don't get me wrong, they're just not as big as the flat walk and the running walk. And since I'm imitating this, I can only do it so well. So what it looks like is instead of taking these big steps and going back and forth and swinging the arms, and this is why with these big steps you get that back and forth motion in the saddle with the flat walk and the running walk. The bigger the stride, usually the bigger the motion going back and forth. So with your saddle gait, it's more up and down motion. They still step out, but there's more piston or up and down motion. So what it kind of looks like is this. Looks real goofy, right? Like a real speed walker, okay? Now they don't move their head up and down. I'm just moving my arms to balance. But it's kind of got a little wiggle in it, and it's fast. And what happens in the saddle is you get a little jiggle like this, or it's completely smooth. So it's kind of like this, okay? So back and forth. But you'll have more up and down motion, but still 4 beats. These are all 4 beats, even though I'm just using 2 legs. Now, other horses will have a foxtrot. What's a foxtrot like? Foxtrot is more up and down like this. They can have a decent stride, but they usually don't have a lot of overstride unless they're mixed with a walking horse, but lots of horses can foxtrot. So it's an up and down motion, but it's a smooth. So more similar to me jogging, or more similar to a quarter horse's jog, okay? So that's your foxtrot. Now, what other gaits are there? Well, there's a rack, and that's just a faster saddle gait, so that's going to be more like this, and it feels like you're floating. And I know I look really weird, right? The legs are moving really fast. Everything's kind of moving all around you, but you're kind of floating on a magic carpet, okay? Now, with different breeds, they're going to call it different names. You might hear Tolt. You might hear Corto. There's lots of different things. And even the step pace is gait, but that has a little bit more of a hop in it. And people mostly do the step pace when they're trying to go for a running walk. So again, if your running walk is these big strides, but fast strides, what you get with a step pace and is a little hop in it, like this. So it can be smooth, but you feel a little bounce in the saddle. But they're still stretching out. It's just that they're more strung out, and so it's not as good for their body. Okay? So the last one I'm going to cover is the pace. And it's hard for me to do a pace, but because they're moving on the legs on the same side together. But there's a little suspension and a little bounce. So what it kind of looks like is like this. Whoops, I can't even do it. It kind of looks like this. So we'll just do it slow. Okay? So this is your pace, but this is going very slow because I can't do it very fast. Okay? So the back leg and the front leg on the same side move together, and it's very jarring. If you try it, you can even feel it. But some of the horses, it's not as bad, and when it's not as bouncy, that's more of a step pace. So just know, when you get a gaited horse, if it's a walking horse or you're going for a flat walk and a running walk, it's going to feel just like a walk does. So how do you know when they're doing the right one? Well, it feels like a walk, but you're going pretty darn fast, and they're walking as fast as they can. They're speed walking, okay? But we call it a flat walk, and then the fastest speed of it is going to be called a running walk. Head does need to go up and down, okay? Because they're pushing with the back end, pulling with the front end, and they use that head as a fulcrum. Your foxtrot is going to feel like a quarter horse jog, a smooth jog, but faster. Head's going to go up and down too, okay? Your body's going to go up and down in the saddle, where with the flat walk and running walk, you'll go back and forth, or it'll just be smooth. Foxtrot usually gets some up and down. The faster you go and the closer you get towards a broken trot or a hard trot, you're going to get more bounce, so keep it a little slower. Your saddle gait, you're going to kind of feel like you're twerking, or jiggling around some, okay? So that's when you're really speed walking down like this. And a lot of times you'll see the horse's butt moving back and forth like that, okay? And you'll see that bounce in their tail. The camera might be moving some. So you got your flat walk and running walk are gait, but it feels like a walk. You got your foxtrot, which is a gait, but that feels like a quarter horse's jog. And then you got your saddle gait, and that's just going to feel like it's going to feel more like a jiggle in the saddle, and the legs are moving all around you, okay? So hopefully that helps clear it up some, because a lot of you have the gait, you just keep going past it, and that's the problem, and that's why they're trotting or pacing, because you're going past the speed of their gait. Your flat walk's usually 3 to 5 miles per hour. Your running walk and foxtrot is usually 5 to 7 miles per hour. Same with the saddle gait is around that speed. and then your rack's going to be much faster, okay? And some horses can speed rack and go up to 30 miles per hour. But just know if you're changing to gated, that fast walk is one of your gaits, and then after that, depending on what gait you're going for, you might feel it's a little different, or it might feel exactly like a fast walk if you're going for that running walk. So hopefully this clears up a little confusion for you, but it just takes time to feel what it feels like and then to make sense of it all in your head and then to be able to get those gaits out of the horse, okay? All right, I hope that helps. Remember, like and subscribe.